Okay, so let's talk about the state of our caregiving space. Just want to make sure everybody still sees the slide. I just did something. I just want to make sure it's still there for you. Okay. So when I think about the state of our caregiving space, I thought it would be helpful to actually separate our spaces. So we have community space, and that could be in person, online. We also have creators in our space, and you guys all sound like creators. We have researchers. We have a workplace, a healthcare system. We have technology. Yesterday during our family emergency planning, we learned about Snug, which is a daily check-in app. We have influencers within our space. We have thought leaders. We have consultants. And then we have content providers. And when I think about content, it can be words, images, presentations. There's probably more that I haven't thought of, but that's what I think of. Those are the spaces. I'd love for you to think about what spaces do you currently feel a part of? And when you have some ideas, go ahead and share in the chat room. Okay, so Ken is sharing healthcare system and consultant. Yes, love that. Tony is sharing community creators, influencers, thought leaders, consultants, and content creators. Yep. Where's a space you want to be that you don't feel like you're in right now? Okay, and Lauren is sharing the spaces that she's in are creators, consultants, workplace, community, thought leaders, content providers. Isn't it awesome to think of yourself as being active in these communities? Oh, it's awesome. And there might be one where you're not yet. And if there's a space you'd like to be in, go ahead and post that in the chat room. Okay, Lauren is sharing healthcare system technology and researchers. Love it. Love it. And again, we can be researchers. We can be researchers. So Beth is in a few communities and she'd like to be collaborating with other creators and researchers. The spaces that Tony and Marilyn would like to be in include healthcare system, influencer, and technology. And Vicki is sharing community, researcher, influencer. Those spaces that you want to be in, pick one, and then look to connect with someone who's already in that space. And you can connect with them on social media, LinkedIn, Instagram, TikTok, wherever you go. I'm curious, especially when you think about the spaces you already are in, what's missing in these spaces? What do you think these spaces need? There is an online community for persons who are caring for family members who still live in India. So the adult children have moved to the United States. They're managing care for parents who still live in India. That's a community. So again, when we think about a niche, that's a very specific niche that has become an online community. So if you are a member of different online communities, you could think about what would be what does this space need that just isn't here yet that I could create? That very specific niche of serving adult children of parents who live in India came out of a member of a community feeling like, I just need to talk to others who get it. Because we have some specific challenges in our situation, and that's why she created it. So you can think about your experience within communities and what you think, oh, it would be great. And if you're a member of a community and you like who's hosting this community, you can say to that community host, you know what, I'd love to add to this community, blah, share your idea. And if it's a great host, they'll say, go for it, go for it. You could think about what's missing within the research space and what content you think, I'm sharing content, I'm receiving content, but there is some content that's missing. What is it? Okay, Lauren, this is fabulous. So Lauren is sharing her space is very tactical, logistics focused, and she's working on bringing more vulnerability and emotional processing into it. Fabulous, beautiful. And you can see how there are potential collaborators who are tactical and logistic that could really benefit from what you can bring into with this idea of being vulnerable and emotional. That's awesome. Okay, so we thought about the spaces that you are in, the space that you want to be in. Then we thought about what's missing in your space, and then what's that gap you fill with your expertise. Now you can think about who are you already connected within those spaces? Now you can think, I have these connections, but what I'm missing is this connection. So for instance, if you consider yourself to be a researcher and you're thinking about, what's missing in the research space, connect with researchers in the space to really understand what's been done already and then what you can add that brings in value. When you think about your connections within these spaces, it doesn't have to be caregiving specific. You could think about your neighborhood. What are the connections within your neighborhood that could be elevated by bringing in your caregiving insights? Lauren and Ken are connecting over shared experiences in the chat room, which is reminding me that we probably should think about how can we connect on Caring Our Way and on LinkedIn. So before we close, I'll make sure, let's spend a few minutes just sharing our LinkedIn profile. And then the other opportunity is within Caring Our Way. And Lauren and Ken, you both are in the CCC program. So I can connect you that way as well. So where do you want to be in your spaces? For instance, you could think, you know what? I want to be the encourager in my space. And it might be, let's just stick with LinkedIn, for instance. Maybe you've connected with a lot of others who serve family caregivers, and you think, in my space, I want to be the encourager that encourages others who are doing similar work, because I know how hard it is to do that work. And if you think, you know what? I am on I follow Instagram accounts of family caregivers because that's how I stay current in my experiences. And for those Instagram accounts that I follow, and it's family caregivers, I want to be the encourager in that space too. We teach a skill in our consultant training called validation. One of the roles that I have taken on social media, I feel it's really important to validate what someone's experiencing. So that's a way I can be in that space that's different than how others are in the space. And as you follow and pay attention within these spaces, you can think about what are the opportunities? Who could you work with? What's the unique value you bring? And what opportunities can you create? When I started thinking about my work with family caregivers as being someone who creates opportunities for them, I really started changing in how I connected with family caregivers and how they connected with me. For instance, they could blog on my website. That was an opportunity for them. One family caregiver who blogged would say to me, I just feel like amazing that my name is on a website as a blogger. It was a different way to see herself within her caregiving role. She wasn't just family caregiver to her mom, she was a caregiving blogger. That's the opportunity. And then the opportunities became about presenting at conferences that I hosted and then starting a small business. When I really looked to what are the opportunities that I can create, it changed the work I did. So, what are the opportunities you can create within spaces? Let's say you've been dabbling on the outskirts of a space because you've thought, I'm not sure I should be in this space. So, how can you move forward? How can you decide, I'm ready to be in this space? I'm ready to call myself a content creator. I'm ready to launch a podcast. So, what will help you move forward into actually doing that? And then within that space, who can you connect with? Who are the other podcasters, for instance, that you respect and like? What can you learn from them? And again, you can learn so much from podcasters outside the caregiving space. If, for instance, Lauren, I'm going to kind of use your example, you are looking to connect to working family caregivers, you could think about what podcast might someone who works within a particular industry listen to? And then, as you listen to that podcast, you could think about pitching yourself as a guest to bring in your insights about working within this space, plus having the additional responsibilities of caregiving. How do you stay successful as an employee within this space while you're also managing caregiving responsibilities? So again, as you're thinking about spaces, it's specific to caregiving, but it's also specific to the other interests you have as a human being. Oh, look at me. I forgot I did this, but yeah. So let's connect on LinkedIn. And if you'd like to now, go ahead and share your LinkedIn profile in our chat room so we all have an opportunity to connect with each other. Okay. Is everybody good if we take a 5-minute break? Okay. Let's take 5 minutes, come back, and we'll finish up with our last hour.